I wanted to do a follow-up video on the first video that we did, which was the current setup of the 4Runner, and we've done quite a bit in the past couple of months as far as upgrades. One of the obvious ones that we made a video for were the sliders, which are the RSG sliders right here. These things have proven to already been or to be very useful on trails. We went up, and I'll show you a couple clips here of us doing some trails at Slaughterhouse Gulch, and yeah, I beat them up already pretty good, and just offers really valuable protection to the truck or the 4Runner. And one of the other upgrades we've done are we finally installed the King suspension and got rid of those crappy spacers. And man, what a difference the King suspension and the shocks already has shown. It's shown quite a bit of difference in just the quality of the ride on the trail and even just on the road. I'll do a close up here in a little bit, but I did go with the adjustable um, shocks with the reservoir, and that's going to give me a little bit more control. I know that it's not very necessary for a rig like this, but why not? So one of the other things that I did do in the past couple of months was I added the tent and the roam box up here, and that was mainly just to start getting an idea of how the truck is going to sit under load, because it is a little bit higher in the back, but that's because we're going to be adding a steel bumper in February, late February to March. We're doing the C4 bumper. I did get that as a Black Friday special because it was like $400 in savings. It's pretty expensive still, but super excited about that. So I did throw up the Tepui tent on top of the Rhino rack, and as I already mentioned, we have the roam box up there as well. And yeah, I mean, it's giving me an idea of how heavy this puppy is going to be. And it's going to, we're putting a lot of weight on this now, so really just to understand the level, the ride quality, and how everything's going to sit in the stance of the truck. So here's a different angle. I did end up putting our Kuat bicycle rack on here, which is a really nice rack. I forget which one this one's called, but it gives us a pretty good way to do our bikes. And yeah, as you guys know, I broke my collarbone, so I'm looking forward to get back on the bike and to do some crazy things. But anyways, this is how this maneuvers, and it'll be interesting to see how the Kuat bike rack will fit with the C4 bumper. I have some ideas, but we'll have to play with it just like everything else. I'll get a closer look of how the roam box is currently sitting up there. Lighten it up. So the purpose of this box is really to give me extra storage, really for camping. That's where I put the chainsaw, I put our recovery gear, I even put some steel targets and a couple of shooting things that we can use as needed. It's really nice, and I'm definitely gonna miss a setup like this once we go with like a GFC or a full size hard shell tent. But for now, I mean, it's a cool setup. As you can see, I have that floodlight as well. Kind of already touched on that. That's more for just to give us a little bit of lighting during camp. But yeah, I've already talked a little bit about the Rhino rack. That's the Pioneer platform, and that's been pretty amazing so far. That's one of our first upgrades, and it's proven to take the beating of all the weight and just everything that it has to do, and it's been a pretty sweet system, so super happy with it. Let's do a close-up of how the rear shocks look. So hopefully you guys can see that. So the King shocks do come with the remote reservoir, and I did go with, like I mentioned, the adjustable, uh, forgetting the name of the feature. It was a total feature that was not necessary, but why not, right? When you're spending all this money on the shocks, you might as well spend a little bit more to get the best. So, then we also have, you're not gonna be able to see it, but there's a we're using the heavy duty spring um, for all the weight that we're going to be putting back here. So I opted for that spring. That's the Tepui Tent spring. And yeah, I'm hoping once we get that bumper in, it's gonna all level out pretty well. So I did go with the SBC adjustable upper control arm. That thing is just amazing. What it can do to adjust, to just give more control and adjustability of how everything sits, and especially for alignment, it's been pretty cool. And then you can see bottom right is the reservoir down here, and this setup is specific for the KDSS system, which obviously I have. And yeah, I mean, I didn't do the install. I opted to have my local guys do it, just because I've never done it before, and I guess I don't have all the tools to do it, but eventually I'll need to get in there and start understanding how all this stuff works. Still pretty new, in case things break on the road or on the trail. But another update that I have for y'all is that I actually purchased some new wheels during Black Friday, of course. The wheels are the RRW. I forgot the model number, but I'll show you guys here. Um, yeah, I mean, I went with new wheels because the stock TRD wheels are pretty narrow, and I am running the Spider Tracks wheel spacers, and the new wheels are going to have an offset. I think it's like a negative 12 offset, and they're going to be a little bit wider. So that's one of the reasons I went with it. And so I'll be able to take the Spider Tracks wheel spacers off, which just gives me more. It's always been kind of one of those things where it's adding another point of failure. I'd rather not have that, so I'm going to take those off, and I'm going to get that nice wide standstill with the new wheels. So super excited about that. But then that also brings up the fact that I'll probably need new tires as well. These are 275s. I'll probably be going for a 285, maybe even bigger. But then I'll have to figure out how the mounting or the body chop will be up front. So we'll tackle that beast sometime in January, February. But super excited about that. And I did go with the fifth wheel as well, so I can mount it in the back with the fifth tire. So yeah, that's the update up here. Like I said, it's all very exciting right now because a lot of stuff is happening with the 4Runner. And then we'll move on to another thing I've done. It's the center console like bridge and side panel organization unit thing. I did, believe it or not, make a video on installing it, but I lost all the footage because I think I didn't transfer it over correctly, so I corrupted all the footage, so I don't have that. It wasn't very exciting, but basically, let me get on the other side so you guys can see. So I installed a panel here, a panel on this side, and then this bridge, which is optional, onto the center console or whatever this whole section is called. And basically the whole point of this is just to give me more options to mount things. And basically, like right here, I have my tourniquet. I'll have a couple other options to light some or mount some lighting or just, basic things you need during your adventures. So, and then it gave me the ability to mount this tablet mount up here higher, which I've always hated because it was always too low. But now that I have this option, I'm able to mount it higher, which then gives me more flexibility with how I use my tablet. So here's another look at the middle console. Right now the CB radio is a little sad, but it's gonna get a mounting point maybe here somewhere. But like I said, this thing is cool because it gives you all these bolt options to put, you know, whatever you want on the bridge. But yeah, like I said, CB radio needs some love right now. The whole point of this was to get some organization going and to fix the mounting on my tablet. So yeah, that's what it looks like on this side. So one of the other things that I did recently was I replaced my old dash cam because it was acting a little funny, and I went with the Vava. I think it's called the Vava dash cam, and it's really cool. It's like a little puck that articulates around like in a 360-degree fashion. It lets you record yourself and then move it around. So I went with it because it gives you a little bit more features as far as pulling video faster and taking snapshots. And it's really cool because it also does like motion detection of when, say, you were to get hit at a parking lot or something like that. I'll probably do a bit more of a review on that a little bit later, but that's another thing that I did, and you can kind of see my wiring's a little bit of a mess, but I'll get that handled here shortly. So as far as 2019, I think that's going to be it for mods. I do have one thing coming in that I did get for Black Friday as well, and that's a Realm Adventures awning, and that's, I think it's a 6.5 sized awning that's going to go on the side. It's just a standard awning that pulls out. Something simple for now because we don't have any kind of shade or canopy options right now. So that's going to be the last thing for 2019. The other thing that I also get, in addition to the rear bumper, was the hatch ladder, and that's going to go on the hatch. That's going to be really cool because I'll be able to use it to get up to the Realm Adventures box. And I'll eventually help with the new tent that we'll be getting maybe late next year. And so yeah, that's going to be going, the ladder's going to be going on probably in January. But that's it. And I hope you guys enjoy these videos, and I'll continue to do videos as we upgrade and get this thing to where it needs to be. So thank you for watching and have a good one.
That's where Paco's sleeping tonight.